Hello and good afternoon. I'm Karen Marsdale. I'm interim president at the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome to our member spotlight. And I am thrilled today to have an old friend and someone who I've known for close to 20 years with us today, and that's Ray Melcher. And Ray is with Marathon Capital Advisors. And Ray, I've looked a little bit on the website. We've talked a number of times about the work that you do. You have a great background in finance. And so today we're talking about Marathon. And if I were to say, what is it that Marathon does? I'm just simply someone who you've been introduced to. What would you say in just your elevator speech?
Sure. Well, thanks, Karen. And by the way, congratulations on becoming president of the Chamber during this period of transition there, and nobody more deserving than you, so congratulations. What Marathon does is to help business owners, and generally business owners of privately owned businesses, who wish to in some way transfer ownership of their company to somebody else. Basically selling their company, merging their company, divesting part of their company. And those transitions of ownership could be an outright sale to someone. It could be a merger with a bigger company or competitor. Many times it's transferring ownership to children or key people in the firm.
Sure.
But the main focus of our company is working with business owners who now or near term wish to and or need to transition ownership of their business to somebody else. And we facilitate that transfer through a comprehensive program of helping the business owner prepare the company to sell, getting it ready to sell by packaging it so it's a compelling story to show to a buyer or somebody who may want to merge with them, and then taking it to market and helping to get that transaction all the way to the closing table.
That's a gargantuan project, I can imagine. And with my years at the Chamber and more recently us delving into work in family business initiatives, and we find that so often, and I would say many friends who are consultants to businesses will say, and you can share with me what your thoughts are on this, that people don't plan for these kinds of things early enough on. And so when they're looking at doing this at a point in time, and whether it is a merger, whether it's an outright wanting to sell the business, wanting to transition the business to another generation, or and perhaps something else that would look like that. They have not prepared to do that well.
Right.
Do you find that that's the biggest hurdle that you have, not the technicalities and the expertise you need and have to do the work, but getting that individual or individuals perhaps emotionally prepared and all of those things that need to come forth?
You are right on. People will say that we have financial skills, and we do in our firm. But we often talk about, sometimes we feel like we're a priest or a member of the clergy because you get into an emotional family squabble or something, or somebody's going through a tough time caused by maybe a tragedy in their life or something like that, and we're helping them get through that. Many times in the family situation, there's family tension that pops up.
Clearly.
And you have children differences in terms of capability, interest, and aptitude that have to be reconciled, and we're in the middle of it a lot. So the planning process is usually never as well executed as it should be by business sellers, and the Chamber's effort in the family business area is tremendous in that respect. I just actually today wrote some things for some blogs about the whole concept of planning, about you need to spend more time working in your business, on your business, not just in it, that concept. And I posed a bunch of questions in there, such as, have you thought about the implications to your children, because you have multiple children with different interests? Have you talked to a financial planner to have a sense of your retirement planning needs and your ability to finance your retirement out of this business, and do you have a sense of whether or not it's going to work out to meet your goals and objectives? And a lot of business owners, and not just small businesses, sometimes they're sizable businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses, and the answers we get to questions like, how much planning have you done, is not much.
Right, right. I think that's what would surprise the majority of people who may not be in this position, who maybe are employed by an entity, whether it be privately held or a publicly held company, that if honest and surveyed, most people would say no.
That's
they
correct.
haven't.
That's exactly right.
Now, there are a lot of people in the businesses, if you will, of doing either a valuation for a business or working on a buy-sell agreement or being in the banking industry. What makes Marathon more unique in terms of your opportunity to do these things in the way you do them, as opposed to those sort of multi-level?
Yeah, I think there's lots of things I could say, the textbook things. I think we work harder, smarter, more intensely than anybody around. We just out-hustle everybody we believe that we compete with. But I think the more relevant answer to your question is that we know where we fit in the process. You probably heard the term deal team. We talk a lot about, and we say as part of the planning to our prospective clients, is you need to be thinking about your deal team.
Oh, that's a good.
Who's your tax advisor going to be? Who's your attorney going to be? If it's a lot of real estate involved, you'll need a real estate, potentially some real estate expertise. You might need environmental expertise. You might need some HR expertise. You might need some technology expertise, whatever, because companies of all different shapes, sizes, and areas of complexity. And we'll say, we don't know it all. We don't practice law. We don't practice giving tax advice. Doesn't matter what our expertise might be, we don't practice what we're not licensed to practice. And that even if we had the licensing or the expertise, it could conflict with the objectivity that's important for us to bring to every client situation. So we pride ourselves in being the quarterback, effectively the quarterback of putting the deal team together, so that every step in the process, the right kind of questions are being asked and answered with the best advice, with the best intentions for the business owner. So by the time they get to the end of the process, to the closing table, they know that they know what to expect, what they're going to walk away with. They might know where the sore spots are, where the positives are, and they know that they've got a team that's going to help make sure that it goes as well as it can go. I have a case like that, a real live case that I'm so proud of. About 5 years ago, me and a local attorney and an accountant, I'll maybe mention her name, Mike Meixel, who's a well-known local attorney, and Joel Daleski, who is at Herbine. Joel and Mike and I were the deal team on a transaction. And 5 years ago, or maybe it's the sixth year, every year that business owner invites us to a golf tournament that he hosts and pays for, and he always sends his invitation to the dream deal team.
Oh my gosh, that's a testimony.
And every 5 years now I get that that's what it's about. That's why we do what we do the way we do it, and we work so hard at it, because in his case, he would tell you that all three of us as a team made his successful transaction to transition to retirement happen. And he would probably say, if asked, neither one of us without the other two would have been able to be as effective. Could have done it alone.
Oh my gosh, I think that is absolutely right on, spot on. I was going to use the analogy of a team, and I'm not that much of a sports expert, but I think that was perfect, that using that analogy. I know we have to wrap up very quickly because the time goes by so quickly when we do these, because it's very, very interesting. One of the things that I always say is I've just 20 years almost at the Chamber, see so many kinds of businesses. I love the fact that what happens every day out there in the arena of business, and particularly for small to medium-sized businesses, where there's so much talent. Real quickly, let me ask you one last question. What would you say would be the competitive advantage beyond the fact that you're the dream team? Is it that sense that you're objective when you're looking at not only, you're sort of sitting at the table and there are people at both sides of the table. You're not looking at something from just the accountant's perspective or the owner perspective. Yeah. You do have to be that priest.
Yeah, you're very perceptive. I think what separates us from many others and helps to make us be successful doing what we do is we on one hand say to our clients who we have signed contracts with, we work for you. We're your advocate. We will fiercely, intensely, aggressively work for you to make sure that you achieve your goals and objectives in this transaction. But we say, but you have to understand that without the other party on the other side of the table feeling positive and all that about this thing, we'll never get a transaction done that you want done. So we need to walk that fine line between being a very aggressive warrior fighting for you every day to get the best deal for you, but do it in a way that the buyer or the other party feels good about it and also feels like they're being treated fairly, with honesty, with integrity, and that we are not in any way ever doing something that they have to, as a buyer or investor, whatever it is, say, I wonder if I'm getting sold a bill of goods here.
Yeah, that's the key.
And so we walk that line, and it's a win-win, classic win-win scenario. We say everybody's got to win.
Right.
You can't have a winner and a loser in regard to the transactions we do. You just can't.
No, and I think that's the first line of any good negotiating practice, is that everyone has to walk away. And that's negotiating in the business world, that's probably negotiating in the political, international world. Everyone has to walk away feeling that they have gotten something that they've won.
You bet.
So,
that's how we work.
Thank you, Ray. It's always great to see you, and I know you're doing good things out there, and I appreciate what you're doing, and keep doing more of it.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Karen.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Thank you.